It's still a bit grey and still a bit blustery, but inside the studio here, it's nice and cosy and warm. So let's crack on with today's painting, which is this painting here, which comes from the life of James. Well, to be honest, James's son, I believe, who is the train enthusiast, who took this photograph yesterday, I think it was. And so far, we've got this far with it. We've got been working on the steam that's coming out of the engine here, and we've just been working on the trees. I'm going to get the rest of the trees in down here, and then start to put in the other building and the tracks. So let's crack on quite quickly and get some base sort of green in place on this particular set of bushes down here. The English countryside is a wonderful mixture of the most amazing shades of green. It never ceases to amaze me how many shades of green there are. Seriously, it's one of those things we tend to forget, I think, until we start really looking. We tend to forget how many tones and shades and different tints and everything of green go to make up the beautiful British countryside. And of course, as each season goes by, they change. When I'm working on foliage here, I tend to use a mixture of different techniques and different ways of handling the paint. I'm wanting to get a mixture of marks and without it getting too messy. I do get concerned sometimes that it can get too messy, and one of the great ways of getting all these different marks, I find, is what I'm doing now, which is known as dry brushing. I'm dragging the paint over the surface of the watercolour paper, and the watercolour paper has a raised tooth to it, and by just lightly touching the surface of the paper with a brush that isn't too wet, hence the term dry brush, we can create texture that will allow us, as we progress through it, to give the impression of leaves and twigs and different types of foliage. I keep using that word at the moment. I need to find another word for foliage. Bushes, I don't know. Different types of and to do that we can take advantage of all these different shades of green. You have to be careful. What you don't want to do is to overwork any one area. There's some people say, and I've heard it said in the past, that you should never use green. You should always mix your greens. You should always make sure that you mix it yourself from, blue and yellow and different shades or whatever. But as useful as that advice can be, and yes, and it works, I don't really see what the problem is with using a green. Very, very rarely will I use that green without mixing it with something else. But if you start with green, you're partway there. If you want a yellowy green, add some yellow to it. If you want a bluey green, add some blue to it. If you want to make it more olive, add some burnt umber to it. There's so many ways of just moving that green one way or the other. Trying always to leave gaps in these darks that I'm using. Oh, not all the time, some of them are nice deep shadows, but especially as you emerge from those shadows, you'll get areas where the plant in front creates a shape against the dark. That bit there that I've put there, I'm just going to soften the edges with a bit of water. That's it. This is where the smoke is thinning as it gets to the edge. Of its cloud, so to speak, and I want that to be present but softened by the actual smoke itself. So we don't want it to be hard in the same way. These hard edges up here, they're formed from where the leaves, the top of the cloud is always sort of harder than the bottom, and I'll point on it here, the top of the cloud's always harder than the bottom, but there are times where, as it is here, where the actual tree leaves are actually in front of the cloud. The cloud is going into, at this point, into the tree. So we get more definition in the silhouettes of the leaves in the tree. I want to put some dark behind here. That will make, and some dark here. As I said before, I'm not trying to paint every leaf on the tree. I'm just using the photograph as a guide to the textures that I am creating. Feel free to say hello in the chat as we're talking. You can chat with me and chat with each other if you like. I'm happy for you to do that. I don't mind what you talk about. Keep it clean, obviously. Keep it nice. But as the different layers of green go on, then the light paint that I put on first begins to form just highlights. The occasional highlight here and there. And then we need to get a little bit of depth in. Here and there to add depth to the bushes. this in. This is the bottom of the signal pole. I have masked off the top and I have masked off the one side of it, so I don't have to be too delicate with the way I get this bit in. What I want to make sure is that I'll leave a little bit on the left hand side to make it feel as if the foliage is just coming in front of it. I'm going to stop working this now and move on to another part, just to stop myself from getting carried away and working it too hard. I think what I'll do is I'll start to put in while I've got the greens going. I'll start to put in. Hello, Karen. Hi. You've arrived. Did you get my email that I sent you about half an hour ago? I when I realised, I felt like such a fool I just thought, I just didn't put two and two together at all. I just thought, I thought I was talking to a total stranger. Never mind, we got it sorted. It's going to be a very challenging painting, that one you sent me. But I'm up for a challenge. So I take it you've been to the dentist. I hope it. There we go. I probably won't skip the checks on the shirts because I actually enjoy doing checks on shirts. There's just something about it that gives me great satisfaction because it always looks so good when you get it right. I don't know whether you remember the portrait that I did for Bev of her father, and he got a checked shirt on, and I think I put more effort into the checked shirt than I did to actually the portrait. My favourite part in the end was the checked shirt. Oh dear, right. Not worrying too much about getting much in the way of detail into this green at the moment. Just laying it in because there's all sorts of other shades to go in. To bring it to life. Ah, oh, that's nice. It's it was a strange one, that uh, project that I tried to do with the portrait painting. The ones that I did, those paintings of yours, because portraits of that that type, they take time. They're time consuming, and you've got to get them right. And so there's a lot of effort and time goes into them. And I was trying to do it as a project like this. But I think I did 5 of them or something like that. And the others were, I thought, excellent portraits, to be perfectly honest. You and Bev were the only people that actually bought the portrait, and so I called a halt to that one because it was too time consuming to do it and not get anything back for it. It's because I was doing them very sort of cut price to try and just get work in, but it's a strange thing, this um, way of doing things that I've ended up doing it, all these projects and everything, because I know I say you don't have to buy it, that's one of the things that gets people to give it a go and everything, treating it as a project and all that sort of thing. But to be honest, everyone that doesn't sell is I don't know. It gets me down, to be perfectly honest. I always think there's something wrong. Quite depressing. But thankfully, the majority in the two main projects that I've done have actually, most of them have sold. So that's that's good. Yeah, I know, and you were really happy with them, and that was great. That's what I want. I want people to be happy with them. I want people to value them. But you can't tell. It occasionally happens that somebody will send um, a picture in, and you'll do it, and all the time that you are painting it, they'll be commenting and saying, "Oh, it's wonderful, it's fantastic. Oh man, that's brilliant. Oh," and all the rest of it. And then as soon as it's over, and you say, "Oh right, would you like to buy it?" Silence. In fact, some of them even go to the lengths of blocking me on Messenger so that they don't actually have to tell me that they don't want it. Which is, I don't know. Never mind. It's one of them things. Luckily, This project is going very well so far. Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. To be perfectly honest, the actual pressure of uh, money actually makes me do it better, I think. I don't know. It's a very strange thing, this trying to make money out of art. It's not an easy job. I shall be back in just a moment. I've just had an idea. I am going to go and get some salt because I think I'll be able to add a little extra texture to this front area in a way that I want with a little salt. Alright, let's see if this gives the effect that I'm after. What I've just been done is I've just been snipped into the kitchen and I've got some sea salt here that I've just ground up a little bit finer with a mortar and pestle. What I'm going to do is I am going to put it onto, I'm going to get this grey that I'm working with here. And we'll try it on a section first. Let's just blow it up a little bit. Right, this needs to go on a little bit darker than I would have want necessarily, but it needs to go on quite wet. And then while it's wet, we'll go across the bottom here as well. I've already put a bit of what's name on there, a bit of what do you call that stuff? Right. Now what? And unless we could find that it's too warm in the studio for that to work, but we'll give it a go. What I've done is I've put paint on there, and the paint is still damp, and I've covered it in salt, in sea salt actually, that is it's not as fine as table salt. It's the coarse sea salt, but I've ground it down a little bit in a mortar and pestle, and what it should do is drag the pigment out of the paint in certain areas, and we'll see if it works. Sometimes it works better than others. Sometimes it depends on the temperature in the room. If it dries too quickly, then sometimes it doesn't work as well as others, but hey, why not? Let's give it a go, see what happens. While it does that, I'm just going to leave it for a minute or two and let it soak up what it will. Sometimes it works brilliantly, other times it doesn't work well at all. Experiment. See what happens. Actually, while I'm sitting and this paint is drying and nothing is happening, I might do something that I did yesterday that's just a minute. People were well received it well, so let's try it again. Whatever. For the next 2 or 3 minutes, well, about 3 or 4 minutes, while this salt does its job, I'm just going to take advantage of people being around, and I'm going to play you a piece of, well, a song. And this is a song that I wrote during lockdown a few months ago. I've been spending an awful lot of time doing music during lockdown, so I haven't been painting. And this is a song that I wrote. It's all me. All the instruments, the voices, everything. It's just all me. So I'm going to inflict it on you for the next 3 or 4 minutes while this salt does its job. Try playing it with a different where's it gone? Open with. That's what it's like a dream yesterday. Hold on. It was
was still asleep. Put on my boots and I started walking. This small town living's not for me. Headed out down that dusty highway, just my dreams and me. Don't know where I'm headed, but there's a big old world to see. Cut off the buzz in the great big city, with my dreams in a bag. I was young and pretty, had the world at my feet. Started looking for a place to stay. You know they tell you that those streets are paved with gold, and you're headed for a win. But I can tell you that those streets are paved with dirt, like anywhere I've ever been. Don't trust the bright lights, don't let them drag you in. Don't trust the bright lights, the flashing eyes will tell you lies. Don't trust the bright lights, 'cause all that glitters ain't what it seems. Don't trust the bright lights, don't you let them steal your dreams. Time when you gotta say, can't take this for another day. Days are empty and the nights so long. Ain't no difference between right or wrong. It's time to end this misery. Head on back to where the wind blows free. Pack my bags and this old guitar. Leave my dreams in the corner of a stinking bar. Don't trust the bright lights, don't let them drag you in. Don't trust the bright lights, the flashing eyes will tell you lies. Don't trust the bright lights, 'cause all that glitters ain't what it seems. Don't trust the bright lights, don't you let them steal your dreams. Sometimes you gotta know when you're all done. Sometimes you gotta know when to cut and run. Sometimes that story can't be told. Sometimes it's time to hit the road. Don't trust the bright lights, don't let them drag you in. Don't trust the bright lights, the flashing eyes will tell you lies. Don't trust the bright lights, 'cause all that glitters ain't what it seems. Don't trust the bright lights, don't you let them steal your dreams.
There we are. I flicked that on you and you couldn't get away. There we go. Bit of everything on this channel, I tell you. I don't know about that. I think my chances of days of hits are behind me. I just enjoy doing it. Music's been a big part of my life for many years, but it goes up and down. Sometimes it competes with. Sometimes it competes with the art and takes over. There have been times when I've not done any art for ages because I've been doing music, and vice versa. I might play another couple of it in a minute, but it's it's difficult to actually keep talking for all the hours it takes to do one of these paintings. So to be able to actually do something else, play a little bit of music or whatever, it's just a little bit of variety, isn't it, really? A little bit of a change. going through it quite a bit here. And there's that bit. That didn't empty the room. Let's try another one. Get me a pocket full of money, a car and a big man suit too. A tall townhouse up Main Street. Good friends, I'll get me a few. But if I ain't got you, baby, I ain't nothing but blue. Could take a jet plane across the ocean, see things that I never knew. Find a gold mine in my garden, buy me a mansion with a view. But if you ain't with me, baby, I ain't nothing but blue. Win a fortune on the numbers, buy me a yacht with an all-female crew, sail away down to the sunshine, get everything shiny and new. But if you ain't by my side, girl, I ain't nothing but blue. So woman, tell me that you love me, say that you'll always be true, 'cause this love here in my heart, honey, you know that it's all for you. 'Cause I ain't got you, baby, I ain't nothing but blue. So if I ain't got you, baby, I ain't nothing but blue. Nothing but blue. I ain't nothing but blue. I ain't nothing but blue. Yes, it is me on harmonica too. It's all me. The only thing that isn't me, but I did, is the drums, because I can't play the drums. I programmed the drums on the computer. The rest of it, all the instruments and all the vocals, is just me on my own in the studio. said. Hardly anybody's heard these songs, by the way. This is me indulging myself a little bit with people who I can't see as they're actually listening to it. As I say, I've been doing these during lockdown, and I used to play live a lot. I used to have a band, and we'd go out gig a lot, and I would sing, and we'd play my songs, and we'd do covers and things as well. But it's been a while, and so I've written this stuff, and I've been very cagey about playing it to people. But I thought, well, I'm doing this, and I've got a captive audience. Why not give it a go and see what people think? See if people like it. I'm not quite sure what I'd do with it, really. Thought about putting it on Spotify, but I can't imagine anybody would listen to it. Might make a YouTube channel or something, but whether I get anybody to watch that, who knows? We'll have to see. So I tried it yesterday. There was I tried it on a Facebook friend yesterday, and she liked it. So I thought, hey, I'll do it again. So I did it again in the later video, and somebody said they liked it on that one. So it's just giving me a bit of encouragement. The funny thing is, I said to the chap that I'd liked it. I'm used to people saying nice things about my paintings and all that sort of thing, but actually when they said nice things about my music, it actually means more really to me than the painting. Weird, isn't it? Well, I'm going to share one more. This one's a bit sloppy. A little bit different from the other two. A bit more, I don't know, I think it's a bit more old-fashioned, but we'll see. Where is it? One more small hotel, one more night alone with you. A single rose, a moonlit walk along an avenue. A stolen kiss in a world where only we exist. I touch your face and we fall into a warm embrace. I close my eyes and I'm still there with you. Those precious days will always be just you and me. You hold my hand close my eyes and I'm still there with you. Those precious days will always be just you and me. Just you and me. You and me. Just you and me. Isn't that funny? To me, I'm not sure about this one because this one, I don't know, it seemed more old-fashioned, I suppose, to me than, I don't know. But that's nice. The person I played it to yesterday said something similar. It's surprising, isn't it? Just goes to show you, you can't judge yourself. You gotta throw these things out in the world and see what happens. I've got quite a few more that aren't mixed down yet. They're sort of works in progress, I suppose. There's another one on the computer here that's mixed down, but it's a bit rockier than the others. A bit different, I suppose. Don't know whether to play that one or not. I close my eyes and I'm still there with you. These precious days will always be just you and me. Oh, it's coming. It's coming along. It's really good having this computer screen in front of me with it on camera, because it gives me a totally different view than I have here in front of me. I can look up at the screen and I can see things that I can't see that clearly just looking at the actual painting. Oh. You're very careful when you're painting things like the railway pictures and everything, because so many people are like very sort of enthusiastic, let's say about railways, that you, what can seem like an insignificant thing to me that I'm painting can actually be one of the most important things in the painting to some people. I don't know. I'm not a railway buff, so I don't know. Yes, they are. The bits of red will be the last thing that go in. I think it'll be like dotting the I's on the dragon again. It's a lovely. When he sent it to me last night, I thought, "Whoa, that's a cracker." I was really pleased when I saw this, because this project works in a strange way. It comes in waves. It did last time. I'd get a few, and then they'd run out, and I'd have nothing, and then all of a sudden I'd do a certain one, and somebody would see it and go, "Oh yeah, I'll have one of them," and all of a sudden I've got a few to do again, which is nice. Yeah, the smoke cloud. You miss the smoke cloud. You'll have to watch this morning's video. Actually, the smoke cloud happened while you were fast asleep in America. No, I don't know whether I heard a little voice over in America, Texas. There, actually, say that famous phrase that they said to me while I was in Texas: "You ain't in America, you're in Texas, the Lone Star State." I must say, I did enjoy my visit to Texas, to Houston. It was a real experience. Ah, right, you've already watched that one, I see. It's better to watch it that way. You can sort of fast forward through the boring bits, can't you? There we go. Let's see. Yeah, the smoke cloud. I think I enjoyed doing that smoke cloud more than anything else. All right. Yeah, I don't know about the trains in Scotland, but the trains in the UK, I don't know. I wouldn't call them nice. They're just functional and bleeding expensive. Uh, there are some lovely railway places like this, though, um, that are run by enthusiasts who've rescued these wonderful old steam trains and everything and just run them for fun. And just keep them going on the money that they can make from doing nice, pleasant sort of fun rides for families during the summer holidays and that sort of thing, and on donations, which there. What's the time? I'm going to keep an eye on the clock. I'm going to be doing this until 4:30, and then I shall be stopping probably for the rest of the night. I might have another go at this at the weekend if I grab a couple of hours, otherwise it'll be Monday morning. But it's not actually a huge amount of work left in it, to be honest. It's getting there. Let's see how I get on. Let's go on. I'm going to play the last song. I warn you, this one is a little bit different than the others, but in its theme and in its execution. But we'll give it a go. See how it goes. suburban nightmare. Pull down the blinds, lock it indoors, bar all the doors, keep it all out of your minds. Suburban nightmare, keep it hidden from you. Suburban nightmare, it could be you. Suburban nightmare, pull down the blinds, lock it indoors, bar all the doors, keep it all out of your minds. Suburban nightmare, keep it hidden from you. Suburban nightmare, it could be you. That's your lot. I'm just taking advantage of a captive audience here, aren't I? I'm glad you like that one. That's the one that I don't know. I put a lot of work into that one, but they're all a bit different from each other, aren't they? And I've got plenty more that are all a bit different as well, I suppose. Eclectic me. Well, touch wood, at least we've got through most of today's session without any terrible either technical errors on my part or anything random happening like happened yesterday when the internet just sort of cut off in the middle of, just out of nowhere, just in here, not in anywhere else, just in here. But there's always a way out of these things, so Yeah, there's probably more production in that last one than than in the others. I I went a bit further with the production on that one. Oh dear. Oh, getting there. Yeah. Oh, I can't say you don't get value for money on this show, do you, eh? Hours and hours and hours of me painting, and then a few songs along the way. There we go. We'll have to have a raffle or something later on. It's, you are not going to be able to get a brush like this in Texas. This brush, I don't even know whether it has a brand. We have a chain of shops in stores in this country called the Works, and they are basically a sort of bargain boot shop. They sell loads and loads of books that are probably going out of print or whatever, and they sell them cheap. And they also sell art supplies, really cheap and cheerful art supplies that are, you know, they're not meant to be any good, to be perfectly honest. They're just meant to be they're just, well, how shall I put it? This brush, the only thing it says on it is number 8, because it came in a pack of brushes. Well, there must have probably been a dozen brushes in the pack, and it probably cost me £3, which is probably less than $5. And this is just one brush out of the pack, and it's a cracking brush actually. I'll be sad when it dies, as they all do eventually, because this one's a good one. I don't pay a lot of money for brushes anymore. I used to when I first started, and I realised that it was just, in the end, I realised it was just a waste of money in the end, because these cheap ones do exactly the same job. So I don't. The only things that I am precious about, I don't know whether precious about is the right terminology, but that I'm particularly bothered about when it comes down to art materials are those materials that will affect the quality for the customer, and the that will affect maybe the way I work. So I never stint on paper. I never buy cheap paper or use cheap paper. It's just not worth it. You lose so much in workability and quality, and it makes so much difference to the way that you paint. So I never use cheap paper. I always use 100% cotton paper. Either not like this is, because it's a smallish picture, or cold pressed, whatever you want to call it, or rough. If I'm doing a larger sheet, I'll work on rough paper. But the paper, and more specifically, really as well as much as the paper, the actual paints. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it, isn't it? That's the thing. But no, this is what should I say? The paints are, I think, really important, because I'm selling these, and I want people to know that as long as they don't do anything daft, like hang it like in direct bright sunshine, which hardly anything can survive that, or hang it in a damp environment, which is also death to watercolours, or well, death to most paintings really. As long as you don't do that, these paintings should stay as bright and beautiful as the day that I paint them for years and years and years to come. I've got paintings in the house that I painted, goodness gracious me, probably painted over 30 years ago, and they're not faded or anything. They are exactly the way I painted them 30 years ago. They're smashing, and that's because of using the top quality paints, artist quality paints, and nothing less. But other than that, you know, if it puts paint on the page in the way that you want it to, it's all that matters, isn't it? When I was a student, you know, when I was learning to paint, and I was doing A levels in the sixth form at college, and we had really good teachers and really good tutors in the sixth form. That we were very lucky, really, and they used to try and put us off guard, which at the time seemed a bit odd, but in retrospect, I look back at it now and think it was great. I remember one day walking into the art room, and we used to do. We were very lucky. We had a model to paint from twice a week, which was, you know, considering this is just, you know, 16 to 18-year-olds, we were very lucky, I think. And one day we walked in, and they'd removed all the brushes except for the flat, square-ended bristle brushes. And basically they said, right, you've got to paint the model in black and white squares using just those brushes. That was a challenge, tell you. I can't remember. I remember doing it, but I can't remember how well it turned out. But it was a challenge, and I like that. There was another time then. Then we walked into the classroom, and there were no brushes at all. They'd replaced the brushes with bits of twigs and sticks, and basically we were told to paint our paintings that day with bits of stick. I mean, a lot of fun, really. Some people hated it. My ex-wife went to the same college, and she hated that sort of thing. She hated being put off guard like that. She just liked to paint how she wanted to paint, and that was it. But I think you can tell from this project that I'm doing, these projects that I do here, that I do actually like a challenge. I like to have to work it out. It's a bit like doing. I mentioned this morning in this morning's video, didn't I? It's a bit like doing puzzles. Right, now I know what I will do to that, so that we still get a little bit of the engine coming out. Move that salt. That was a stupid idea. That didn't work. But you know, you try and you see what happens. Where's my? That's a number 3. That's a number 8. There we go. Let's put the little puffing Billy here in the picture. I will be painting this in watercolour as well, but what I'm doing here is using the pigment pens to put in the sharp dark outline. Now these pens are darker than any of the watercolours in my box. So when I put the watercolour over the top of this, I should still be able to see the black pigment as well, which I'm doing specifically because I want to be able to see around the boiler here. I want that to, there is on the painting, there's a dark area around the boiler. Not on the painting, on the photograph. And you can just about make it out. And I want to take advantage of that. Most of these aren't black, actually. I only have one actual black in the box, and I've hardly used it. I don't think I've really used it on this. Maybe an occasional touch here. Most of the blacks are thickly applied greys, or blue greys. I use Payne's Grey a lot. This is almost pure Payne's Grey. If I was to put it on thinly, this colour. It would be the sort of bluey shade that you see here. But put it on thickly, and you get a black, but it's got that blueness to it that rather works nicely. But no, I tend not to use black. Sometimes you need black, and the black that I've got is ivory black, which is a browny black. So if I use it watered, it doesn't give me any. It doesn't give me a grey. It gives me a browny colour, which is nice. Well, I think the next thing to do on that is going to be to take off the masking tape, masking fluid, and add the finishing touches, which, to be honest, is probably about half an hour's work. But I can't do it now. I've got to go because it's time to take my son to work. He works Friday nights and Saturday nights at a Chinese takeaway, which is very nice. There we go. So that's the way it is at the minute. Thank you for being here and joining in with me again. I will send out an alert to say when I shall be finishing this one off, so that you can join in. Thank you for well, what's the word I'm looking for? Tolerating. Thank you for being kind about my music. Putting up with my indulgences. There we are. Let's put a bit of water in there. That's better. We're getting there. We're getting there. Thank you very much for being here, Karen. And when I finished, after I finish this one, it's your turn. So that'll be next week, early next week. I'll see you all soon.